Okay, here we go again. Another week with Unreal, doing some technical artwork. We're going to be working today with the demo that just got released for the Meerkat, which is something we were related to with what we were talking about last week. And we were looking at all the new release notes of 4.26 Unreal, and we were checking out some cool things with this Meerkat demo here, and the little animation. And then I just found out about an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago, that this is available for free on the marketplace now. I don't know, maybe it was always for free. I'm not sure when that actually came out. Oh, these are saying December 10th, so there you go. And anyway, so I downloaded it, got it working. It's been pretty interesting to look at. Some assumptions I had made, I'm not entirely sure is as straightforward and accurate as I was hoping. What I'm trying to say is the animation being done with the Meerkat using the control rig is not as clear as I was expecting it to be, and I almost can't even tell if they animated it with the control rig, but they do have a control rig. I spent about an hour looking at this. Well, maybe not an hour, but tried to spend an hour, but then I spent a lot of time trying to figure some other stuff out. But it's they do have a control rig for the Meerkat, and it does work pretty interesting how they've got it laid out. It almost feels like they're really pulling from a really good set of controls that they've probably learned about at Weta. So it is kind of interesting to see their approach and what they did. I've been struggling to try and figure out how to get the IK-FK switch happening. I know it's there, I can see it's there, I just can't turn it on. So it has to do with the feed controls. But anyway, before we get there, the rest of it looks amazing. So it is, obviously this is very cool stuff going on here. We've got the feather, I don't know what you would call it, feather groom, I guess. And so this is all made with like feather groom, dynamic feather pieces, and the Meerkat itself is got fur on it. Now it's done through the blueprint, which is a bit different. So if we take a look at our blueprint and we go to the viewport, you can see the it's the mesh, the static mesh plus the groom, and then apparently groom debris, which I'm not sure specifically. That must be a terminology for grooms where you have, like, I don't know, stuff underneath like the fur. I don't know how that works exactly. But anyway, this is using a skeletal mesh, so it's got all the necessary parts for having animation. In fact, there is an animation hooked up to it already, so it's designed to loop and play. I bet you if I just drag that into the scene, it probably would start doing stuff. And then you'd have to play it. But if I play it, it's probably going to play the Cinemax. I've never actually hit play button before, so I'm not even sure it's going to. I just dragged another one in. Anyway, the Cinemax, very cool. It is real time. It even has sound effects, which is a nice little feature. It might even be, can't even hear the sound as soon as I turn it on, so I'm not sure. I got my monitor output here. Still can't hear it. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, I have it deselected. Wow, I really got that one confused. Let me try that again. So I got my desktop audio on. There we go. Now we have music. So yeah, the whole cinematic plays in real time. It's very impressive. And if you can actually scrub the animations and stuff and really see it working. Now, one of the things, now that I'm making that super noisy, one of the things I have noticed is that the animation is all baked out. So there's no, I don't get to actually see the control animations of how they use the control rig for the character. So I can't even confirm that they even animated it in Unreal. I don't know. They may have just made a control rig and animated it externally. Here we see the animation somewhere around here. There he is. And it's also possible, of course, that I don't understand what I'm doing, and that maybe this is how you process control rig animation and it comes out. I don't know. Anyway, you can see down here all the cool morph targets that are going on. They've got lots and lots of morph targets, which is also a very interesting element that I don't know if they're doing that with the control rig, is adding morph targets. I don't see a massively complex control rig for the facial animations, so I don't know. I just don't think that's I think that's one of the big giveaways. Now, of course, what they could have done if they really wanted to be strict about it is you know, done the body animation and exported it, baked it out as a you know, a solid baked out animation, brought it into like another software like Maya, and then animated or animated the facial rig to that or something. I don't know. This is all sounding really overwhelmingly complicated when you could have just animated it in the source and then brought it. So it doesn't make the argument of animating with the control rig in Unreal very convincing, so to say. Hey, Gash is here. Where's the nostril dilation ring? Yeah, exactly. Must be a morph target. It is. If you go and look at the see, there's no access to morph targets in this particular rig scene, but if you open up the skeletal mesh, you can see all the morph targets under the morph target tab here. So if you want nostrils, it's moving really fast here. You're gonna be in there somewhere. Oh, there's nostril dilator. Perfect. There's this little sniff. So those are just vertices animated, two different poses. There's nothing really too sophisticated otherwise going on. It's just really nice poses. Like, those are really well done morph targets, actually, when I look at it. It has a really nice natural muscle pull sense to it. Yeah. It does look good. I agree. And so all these are like subtle morphs that allow you to move the face. This is pretty normal for a face rig. These are obviously done very well. This is the essence of excellent facial rigging. But there's no controllers, and I don't really expect an animator to be going through here manually sliding each one of these sliders to get the expression they wanted. Usually you have some sort of interface that you can interact with to help you along as you're animating. But I don't see it in the control rig. Let me go take a look at the cinematics so I can show you what I'm talking about. The cinematic is here. Slider animating would be a pain. Yeah, I mean, if you've got that many sliders, it is a pain. I'm not saying you can't do it, but there's got to be a better way. Like, just to be like, oh, that's it, we're done. This just doesn't sound realistic, especially when you see how sophisticated their animation curves were for that animation. And the fact that it was in that animation file, all the morphs, really looks like somebody exported it. I still can't remember where the cinematic is. I thought it was in the cinematics folder, but that's not it. I have found it before. I know it's there. Levels? Oh yeah, levels. Okay. So, master sequence. Let me just go back to levels again. There's shots. Shots are just like they've assembled their sequence files a little bit differently than I was usually doing. I'm pretty sure this is a bugs Niagara file, so there must be some bugs floating around. You can see them selected in the scene there. And then we just have a camera and a sky dome in our shot. So they're controlling the lighting and they're controlling the cameras in these shot scenes. And those shot scenes are brought into the master sequence as individual shots, so you can shuffle them and time them out, and you know, each shot is lined up. But the animations themselves are just long imported animation files that stretch the length of the timeline. And both the hawk and the eagle and the meerkat are both just a long animation file here. So if you were really doing a proper like control rig animation, it's a special type of asset that has all the different controllers in it it's a different layout. We can take a look at that as well. It was something I was going to do today, was look at animating control rig stuff. But then I found out about this. I'm like, whoa, that's way cooler. But it's just a little bit not quite as clear as I was hoping it would be. So it's pretty neat. I can't remember what I was just about to say. There was something I was going to do. Notice how these are the blueprints. These are the ones that have the fur on them. They're the ones that are attached. And this is the animation asset that we were looking at before. That is just, well, I guess it's this one. Oh, they also put a couple run cycles in, which is kind of neat. So they got a run cycle. That's, again, just baked with some morph targets in here. Which I guess there's a breathing morph. I don't know if that's what that means or not, but then we have this pose, which actually does need a breathing element, but maybe it's just supposed to be the default. And a walking one. They're all really good though. Very nicely animated for sure. And they never used them in the cinematic at all because we would have seen it in that timeline. Alright, so that's all I know about this scene. I guess we should take a look at the eagle as well. We can take a look at the model. Dash asked, sorry if I missed it, but are the morphs done externally? Morphs, yeah, have to be done externally. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to be doing because to make a morph, you're just grabbing vertices and manipulating them, and then saving that pose, comparing and connecting it to the main pose, so that the morph will go from this position to this slightly skewed position, and then you set up a whole bunch of these morphs. They all get stored within the master mesh and exported out as an FBX file. And so you just have a whole bunch of morph sliders at the end of the day. Yeah, just shifting a few verts. It's as easy as that. I'm not really a morph expert by any means, so I don't really have like a huge amount of knowledge for this. I know Jeremy Chin, he was talking to me about this before. He did some pretty awesome setups apparently for some of the projects he worked on, doing a morph combination sequence where you were able to get morphs to convert from one character to another pretty effectively and quickly, which is usually the biggest problem with morphs. Is somebody does like a tweak to the mesh, and then all of a sudden all your morphs are broken, because your morphs have to have the same number of verts in the same number of places in order for them to work properly. Otherwise, if you tweak the mesh, now all of a sudden every time you use a morph, it's like, whoa, this vertices are not in the right place, and they're trying to consider them all as a morph, and so it really screws you up. But you need some sort of nice quick conversion, which is, I think, a tool in Maya now that you can do to like wrap it to it. But I remember he was talking about some sort of custom thing he did, which was really neat. Cash says, I've done it in face rigs only a little bit a while back. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can easily do a morph. It doesn't take very much, but to do them well, like these guys have, it takes a real skill set. That's you gotta understand the muscle structure, and you gotta continue, keep with the continuity of the structure of the face. It can technically, well, it's usually a modeling job, but there's specific people that do morph models, and they're just really experts at understanding how to move geometry in a way that makes it work well. I've definitely had some experience doing morphs and facial poses because of the fact that most of the projects, well, all the projects I worked on were all using face joints as the way to deform it. So you would skin the joints to the face and then move the joints, which would move the skinning. So you still got to pose the expressions and move the joints in a way that poses it, but it's not quite as finite control as morphs. Fatima, hi, welcome. Glad you came to join us today. Hi, Simon. I wanted to save you by not sending you too many messages. Oh, that was a nice way to start that. Do you Do you mind talking more about rigging and animating between Unreal and Maya? Oh, okay, here we go. Since apparently now I know that regular Maya rigs don't work the same in Unreal and vice versa. That's correct. Not all Maya rigs work in Unreal. And in fact, I would say the majority that you're going to find do not work in Unreal. And you have to make sure you very carefully pick the ones that do say that they're game compatible. Otherwise, the amount of work it takes to convert a non-game compatible rig to a game compatible rig is just not worth it. You might as well just start from scratch and build it again. It does make it really difficult sometimes to get a nice clean system, and because you know, you can get away with a lot more cheats when you're dealing with like a film-based rig than you can with a game rig. So it makes it harder. If we take a look at the skeletal mesh, you can see that even in this one we have nice clean bone chain. You can turn it on here, and that should be all continuous. I don't know what these guys are for. To our skeleton mode here. Front right up leg. Whoa, up leg. What? Must be the up vector for the legs. Wow. Never seen anything set up like that before. This is always really neat because it's all made by Weta, so you're like, what are they doing? What kind of tricks are they got in there they're using? Allows you to control the up vector, I guess, where you want it. Yeah, sorry, and and then well, I don't really know what I'm going to say next, actually. Dima says, so does that usually mean animators for games are separated from animators for films? Not so much the animators, more the riggers. The animators shouldn't really see much of a difference from their end. They still get the same controllers that they're expecting. It's just you're not going to get... You're gonna have different problems. Some of the problems are like you need to, you know, with a film rig, you need to make sure that it's going to be able to smooth and become, you know, a perfect geometry for rendering. So often you either have like a proxy rig or you have some sort of method that you're going to be able to smooth it and up-res it so that the render comes out perfectly. Obviously, there's materials and all this other complicated stuff, but with games, everything has to go through this skeleton. You know, for body movements, and so you got to strip it down to just rotating joints and rotating and translating joints combined with these morph targets that we were talking about before, and you know, make sure that it all gets reassembled again back in the game properly. In this case, because the animation itself has all the custom sliders, we're able to reconstruct the facial rig without having to like build anything crazy. But you can see here all the different morph targets that are happening. They're all you know, timed out to play, turn on and off at the right appropriate time based on what was animated in the other software. And the chest breathing. That's cute. So I'm not sure where I'm going with this again. But basically, oh, I know. So for you, and you were talking about what kind of rig to animate with, I think you were talking about that. Sorry, this music is a little bit distracting with the clapping there. Turn that down a little bit. I'm easily distracted, maybe, perhaps. Oh, you even sent me some new messages I didn't get, so sorry about that. I'll have to set a reminder myself for that. Okay, so let me just keep reading. Fatima says, yeah, it's for our game mostly, to know how to animate for it. We've got a modeler and he's doing great, but no rigger yet, and I was curious about how we need to choose our rigger. So for a rigger to determine what they can or can't do, It's just about keeping your hierarchy clean. You want to make sure that you have a hierarchy like this, where you've got one big list of joints. They don't get split off into other controls, or you don't mix in like controllers and stuff into here. It's just one chain of joints, and then your control rig is all a separate hierarchy that is just constrained to these ones, and they don't influence that list. That's really, in essence, all you have to worry about. And most of the rigs you'll see, especially the facial joints and stuff, will be all separated into other hierarchies, and it doesn't work. It just messes everything up. So if they use Advanced Skeleton, I would say, you know, you probably have a pretty good bet that you can get it working. We've been doing that in the previous streams, trying to get our game rigs to be working from Advanced Skeleton, and it's a pretty easy, you know, user-friendly way to set it up. Otherwise, you could also use HIK rig, but I'm not really going to recommend that because I don't really enjoy hand keying with HIK rig, and I don't want to bring that on to other people who are trying to learn how to animate. Gash says mostly we use some type of auto rigger for games. Well, what type of characters still need to adjust, of course. Yeah, and Gash is totally right. Yeah, we just use auto rigging. You don't want to do it from scratch if you don't need to, and especially if it's just a biped character. Auto riggers, there's plenty of auto rigging choices out there to set that up. Fatima says, Gash, but if you want something to look good with specific movement, it's better to animate it yourself. Yeah, well, I mean, animating is different than rigging. You definitely want to animate it yourself, but the rig that you decide to set it up with just needs to be functional in a sense that it's been like battle tested, and you're never really going to be able to have a good battle test, so to speak, if you're just creating the rig from scratch with your own self. You're always going to forget something or make some silly mistake, and to add all those extra bonus features like IKFK switching and twist joints and all this stuff, you're just never going to get. It's going to take you so much longer, and in the end of the day, you're not even going to get the quality that you're going to get from an auto rigger. It's literally like reinventing the wheel. Like, you can't. It's not that you can't do it. It's just it's going to take you all day or many days, and your result is going to be like not as well done as a highly manufactured wheel that you can get from a store or something. Cash says long time. Fatima says, oh yes, auto rigging. I thought that was auto animating. Auto animating. That's a joke we always talk about. The animators always make this joke of, where's the animate button? Just want to push the animate button. Sorry, I'm not really trying to make fun of you. That was just funny that you brought that up. Yeah, the auto rigger though. There's an auto rigger in Maya that will just, you push a button and it's done. That is, in essence, the ultimate auto rigger for the simplicity. It does come with consequences. Your auto rigging does end up with joints that aren't necessarily in the right place, and skinning that isn't always done perfectly, and orientation on your joints that are not accurately lined up to your characters. So then you've got always a little bit of offset. But for a one button click, that's actually getting you so much closer than anything else you can choose from in Maya. So it does, if you're just trying to like, I just need to pose it out, I don't need to do anything crazy, then yeah, one button auto rigging from HIK will get you, yeah, magical results. But from there, you kind of want, as an animator, you want something that works very well and is quite robust. And so I think Advanced Skeleton is a much better step towards an animator's ideal rig. And there's lots of other auto riggers out there too, but I just like how Advanced Skeleton is so easy to install and put together, and it's got lots of nice user-friendly help. You don't need a hugely sophisticated rigger to set it up. You just have to follow along on the directions. Heck, I was able to do it during one of my streams, I think last week or whatever. So, and it was a quadruped. So, that's my my recommendation of what path to take. If you're going to try to do your own custom character, or you just, use a existing character and animate with that. It depends on what your priority is. If you're trying to tell a unique story, and you really need a custom character, then so be it. But if you're just trying to do a really nice job animating, then it's really nice to have a nice animation rig to work with. Like it makes a lot of difference. I'm just curious here. What else is in our Meerkat demo folder? Is there something in the source folder here that's going to be cool? No, these are like actual C++ code files here. Oh, what the heck? They're all 1 kilobyte, so they're super tiny. Just had this thought, maybe they're going to put the rig in the source folder or something. That would be super awesome. They're never going to do that though. that would be like Weta giving away all their trade secrets. These backgrounds, by the way, are all with Quixel assets, so they're all in the Megascans folder here. So it's just cool to see also what you can do with Megascans. Get this beautiful environment, nicely laid out very easily. Yeah, it's a great environment. I mean, it's just, and it's nice and simple and small. And this is like perfect example of how you can take, you know, you want to do an animation assignment, you can have a beautiful background. Doesn't cost you anything. Like these assets are literally free. You can download them for free from Quixel right now. And you know, you assemble it into a small little environment, something that's reasonable to work with, and then you just do your little cinematic. But I think the hardest part here is for sure is the rig and the animation. Oh, I guess the Ferg room and the character. Right, there's a lot of really hard things to do, but the environment I think would be one of the easier ones to do, for sure. Is that a random oversized golf ball? It's labeled as a ostrich egg. It does look like a perfectly round. I didn't know ostrich eggs were quite that round, but apparently that's what it is. And then there's many versions of it too, if we actually go take a look. Seems as though we have a rig with a pivot point right in the very center here, just so that it can roll around. And we have the broken version. Maybe we'll take a look at the rig first. This is the physics asset. So I guess this is the one that you can, oh, okay, it's got half a shell. That would be, I wonder what these joints are for. Yeah, little shards. Tima says, I really love this. I need to tell our environment artists all about these assets. Yeah, for sure. Just click on the link that, this is the Meerkat demo. And download it. It's 9 gigabytes. It takes a while to download, but it's really it's a great example of like the 4.26 quality that you can achieve, really cutting the edge of technology. And obviously, it's made by Weta, so they also have a really good sense of how to maximize their software. These ones are just little shards with animations attached for when they have to break or whatever. It's a huge timeline that just gets layered on with the other sequences. This is actually a very similar traditional way to animate cinematics. You just have baked in scenes. You've done it all in another software. You export them all at the length of your timeline, layer them all in with the assets. They all sync up to each other because they're all starting at the same time. There's not much work in terms of guessing what's going to happen. I am a little bit curious to know how they make some of this stuff disappear between shots. Maybe we should take a look at the cinematic again. Oh, I got it right here. Probably just animating the visibility, I guess. Here's some egg shards. Oh yeah, visibility. Red means turned off, green means turned on. You just turn it on when you need it. Very easy interface to work with. That's a nice feature for sequencer to have that visibility. Used to be like a lot harder in Matinee. Some VFX in there. Nice also how they all used Niagara components for their VFX. That was Goes to show they're really trying to demo the new features. But anyway, that fur is awesome. I definitely like the groom effect on the real-time groom is definitely a very neat and experimentally cool feature that I think is no longer an Is this groom that's no longer experimental? I don't know, I think so. But anyway, they it's a really fascinating direction for any artists that are looking to get themselves into new direction, is just figure out how to get grooms to work really well in real time. And I would be very shocked if you couldn't find work rapidly. Because it's pretty much what everybody's get. Like, whether you have a character that's furry like this or whether you have a person with hair, I mean, being able to be a master of like doing grooms in real time is like the new skill set for sure. All right, what else am I gonna do right here? Oh, I know, I was gonna look at the control rig. This is gonna be boring. Boring time. So I'll show you what's going on with the control rig, and try to break down what I was able to digest. It's actually kind of neat to look at, but like I said before, I totally don't know if they I really don't feel like they animated with it. I think they just made a control rig that works, so you can potentially animate it. Oh, I was gonna add a. Okay, let me, before I get into even more boring stuff, let's I'll show you how to make a well, I'll show you. How about I try to make a cinematic asset using this control rig as your animation, because this is something I found out earlier in the week that I was going to use today with the mannequin, but I can use this Meerkat as my example. So we're going to make a new we'll just use this level. It's a good level. Make a new sequence file. Maybe I'll make, well, we have a cinematics folder. What is this movie pipeline about anyway? I don't know what that means. Can I open it? Settings? Is this the folder path of the output images? It is. Oh, that's kind of neat. They got a deferred pass, a image sequence output. I don't know what that means. Anti-aliasing settings and pipeline camera settings. Wonder what they're putting that to. I don't know. I don't know what that's for. Pretty cool though. Anyway, I'll make a new folder called custom cine. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. So when you to get the control rig to work in your scene, for example, we have a little animation mode down here. That's coming from a plugin that doesn't get loaded by default because all this control rig stuff is still considered experimental. But we go to plugins under, I think it's just control rig. Control rig, there it is. So that's by default turned off because it's beta. So you have to turn it on in order for us to see it, and they'll tell you restart the editor. But this is the project that had this, so it already had it in there. And so when you load it, then you also get, when you create a new sequencer file, you get control rig, which is an option. And I was going to say there's a level sequence, control rig level sequence, but they've gotten rid of that. So maybe that's something that you don't need to do anymore. Control rig gizmo library. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Okay, let's try it out. I'm gonna see what it does. Gizmo library. Alright, I guess your gizmos are your controls, like controllers. Weird, I wonder why you need to make an asset. I guess you can customize it that way. Alright, well anyway, what I was going to do was make this special level sequence that supports control rigs, but I don't know if that's true anymore. So maybe we can just make a control rig, and in here we can add ourselves a our control rig character. I don't even know. Maybe this is something I haven't actually. tried yet, so we'll see if this works or not. Grab our rig, the only rig file. This is a control rig asset here, so I'm going to drag that into here. No spawner found to create new spawnable type. Wow, this is going terribly. I actually really thought this is all going to work nice and easy. But what am I missing? Oh, I know why I haven't done this before. Because the other asset that I had was already set up with a sequence, so I never had to do this part. I still have the document over here. What was I looking at? That was telling me to do this. Let me go find it again. Control rig, Unreal 4. Find out our documentation. It's supposed to be updated for 4.26, so. Load up the control rig. Control rig sequence. That's what I'm looking for. That thing. Come here. Well, that's too bad. Well, let's see what the next steps are. You can create a control rig blueprints, control rig gizmo libraries, and create control rig tracks within level sequences. Okay, so we're looking for a control rig track from the add import button under animation. What? Control rig, anything control rig. I don't see it, I don't see it, I don't see it. Add import animation. What the heck does that mean? This is the animation mode tab up here, where we can bring in our control rig. I don't know what I'm supposed to bring. Bring it in the scene or something first. Oh, that worked. Okay. Whatever. I don't know. I just dragged it in the scene. I didn't drag it into the sequencer. It just automatically picked up that that's what I wanted to do. Cool. Alright. Well, anyway, we'll put it over here. It used all the shots. So, like, what? How did it know the shots? Where did it get that from? It's also got all the audio and stuff, too. Maybe the audio is tied to the shots? Oh, it's playing the whole cinematic. Even with the other characters and everything. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm like, what? Pipeline. Custom Cine. Tima says, just when you got this, things blow up. Yeah. I really don't have a clue what's going on right now. I almost feel like it's dynamically picking up when I had that character selected. Where's my character? He's not there anymore. Oh, there he is. So if I pick him, and nope, we gotta go back to modes, animation. Nope. What's happening here? Why are we not putting this guy in here now? Did I mention that this is a beta mode? Let's see if I can just add this guy in here. Oh, that actually looks like it might work. Just add him in as a control rig. Here's all our controllers. Okay, we're gonna go with this. Look, even the controller showed up. All right, we're on good shape here. I'm gonna slow the camera speed up because this guy's just a little guy. I'm not running around so fast. So, like, each of these is one of the controllers, and each of them have like XYZ for your, well, it depends on which controller it is. Might be your translate, might be your rotate. I would assume some of them might have both, but they all seem to be just XYZ. Anyway, you don't bother animating in here. You would go into your curve editor, and this is where you can make keys. So, and I'm not saying I know how to do it properly. I'm just saying this is what I was using as a method. Oh boy. Oh no, you pick it up on the top of here. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but grab the whole control rig. Oh, it's loading like crazy right now. This was the first problem I had, by the way, normally. Okay, so I picked the top one. Now I have all the objects selected. I can hit S, creates a key on all the frames. Hey, Zayoang. I know who you are, I just don't know how to say your name. Zayoang? Zayo? Let's just say Zayo. I hope to animate directly in UE, but I find it difficult to do that in many ways. Like setting constraints, adding pickers, etc. Welcome, by the way. I'm glad you joined us. Yes, this is hugely an experimental path here, and I have only just tried it for the first time earlier this week. So we are talking like definitely no idea what I'm doing. I'm probably not representing it in a very good light because of the fact that I keep making really basic mistakes, but I think we should really stick to it and figure it out. Well, maybe not in this session, but going forward. Hey, because I think this can be really useful, and you can see why already, where we have our control rig in our scene, and we are animating to the environment and to the scene that we want to do. Now, the real struggle point that I always have is like trying to get, I don't know why this isn't working. Maybe I got grid snapping on. Yeah, that's what it was. Trying to get the workflow faster is really what it is. So you can see I picked the high foot, grabbed the foot there, picked the right foot, and it's not working too bad right now. It's dropping keys as I change it. So I think this is the one that moves the whole body. So one thing I'm going to get to eventually is talking about how I don't know how to switch my IKs to FK. So we got all the limbs as IK. And this was the same problem with the mannequin control rig that you can download for free. But in that case, they don't even have support for the FK. It's just solely IK on that one. So you can't even do anything. And the hands are all IK'd. So you're just kind of like trying to make it hands move, but you're... Hey, Riz Animation, you're back. Welcome. Fatima says, oh, wondering about that too. If it's better to animate in Maya or Unreal, animate. It is by far easier to animate in Maya at the moment. This is, we're talking, this is like experimental to a point where I'm not even sure if this is going to work as a concept. But they are heavily invested into it, and I'm really curious to know where the pros and cons are. And you really don't know until you work with it for a while and get a sense of what it's like. But I'm definitely not going to try and argue that this is easier or faster than Maya, because the one big problem I've run into, well, aside from the fact that it takes me like half an hour to get like the whole rig keyed, which is probably something that they're just going to add a special hotkey or some sort of functionality in the next few versions. I've seen this constantly with Sequencer. It's like when Sequencer first came out, it was filled with weird issues and like clearly obvious bugs. And then as the versions went on, the bugs got fixed and it was all better. But like for keying all, I'm picking the top node here. I'm hitting S. That's allowing me to key everything. Now, if I want to zero out a controller, this is one of the weird ones. For example, I didn't even key the first thing. So I have not turned on auto key. That's why nothing saved with what I just did. Now with auto key turned on, when I do make modifications, actually going to make a difference, I hope. Let's try this again. Good thing is I've made a key where he's standing up, so now I'm going to make a key where he's crawled over and then he'll stand up afterwards. But can you just trying to imagine doing the animation of the quality that they did with the cinematic sequence that exists right now using this control rig. I mean, it just would take you an insane amount of time. So I can't even pick it right now. I don't even know what's going on. Why can't I pick controllers that I'm trying to select here? So there's going to be some huge struggle points until we finally get it figured out. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Oh, and there's another issue, is trying to undo things is always a bit of a problem. I can't pick it. It's very frustrating. Sayo says, Dima, maybe the only way for now is to use Live Link. Yeah, well, and the problem with Live Link is you don't get to see your character in the environment like this. That was the other problem we had a couple streams ago. And it's always been the problem where you can only, like, the fact that I'm scrubbing the timeline and seeing my animation in Sequencer, it's just, that isn't supported with Live Link. All you can see is your skeletal mesh in the skeletal mesh editor doing what Maya's doing. It does match the camera though, but oh my goodness, I finally got it to work by selecting from the back end. There's got to be a better way to do that. Okay, there we go. And we scrub. We have ourselves an animation. Hey, Sarah's here. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? No classes this week, I guess. So you get to hang out with us. I'm sorry. Apologies. No, this is a good week. We're trying out this control rig. This is very appropriate for you, actually. Not saying that this is going to be a good solution for you, but it's kind of interesting to see where we're at here. Oh yeah, zeroing out was one of the issues. Riz, I'm also a 3D animator. So when I want to zero this out, I can't just expect it to work if I try and hit reset position within the transform here. It moves the whole character because this isn't actually the object I have selected like you would expect in Maya. This is still the skeletal mesh component, so like the whole character. So you can't rely on these numbers to modify the values that I'm trying to zero out here. So in what I did find was if you select the keys you wanted to, you get a multiple value option here that you can reset. So then that brings those values to 0, which, as far as I'm aware, are able to do so far, it's been pretty successful at zeroing stuff out. Of course, a little moment there, I didn't have the option, but it can technically give you the 0. But it's clumsy. Like, I can only do that one object at a time, from what I've understood, what I've been able to see so far. So if I pick both hands, like, I don't know, maybe that's just not doing anything, but there's no key on that frame, so that's not helping me. But anyway, that's the that was one of my major hangups I was having, trying to do an animation that was taking me forever. Riz is a 3D animator and has a YouTube channel. Thanks, Riz. I think you mentioned that last week. I don't need to see it. It's all right. So there's 2 head controls as well. Like, we've got the main head control and the second one, which literally does, I feel like, the same thing. I'm not sure what that's all about. One's called head control and the other one's called local head control. I think it's called local head control. Doesn't actually tell me there. Oh, there it goes. Neck local control, is that what we got selected? No, they just seem to be doing the same thing. Nice though, when you change the neck like this, you can see that the deformation is pretty natural there. That's all covered by fur too, right? So you can't even tell sometimes what's going on there. And with the tail, for example, they have an IK-FK system. So you get your FK and then the IK is hanging out down here, which gets layered on top. Not really sure how that's intended to work. Like, are you just supposed to pick and choose which one you want to use? Don't really get it. Here we're getting into more details. We have these control balls. How do I explain it? Tail tip control. Well, let me see if it does anything. I don't think it does anything. Oh, it does. It does control the tail tip. That's like a third modifier you can do. I don't know. I find it kind of weird that you just would like do all of them at once. Usually it's like one or the other, but add IK-FK. Oh, add FK visibility. Alright, so this might actually help resolve some of the questions I had. Oh yeah, look at this. You can turn it on and off. Okay, let me try this out. So we have, this is the IK controller for the foot, and one of the big problems I was having was, how do you see the FK controller? I know it exists, how do you see it? So in here you have a ball as well for the bottom of the feet, and this has neck IK, torso IK, here it is, right foot, left foot IK, FK switches. And so here, I'm going to take this value, I'm going to switch it to 1. Hopefully 1 is the value I'm supposed to be hitting, which is supposed to convert the right foot to FK, which not doing anything. Let's try, let's even go higher than, I think it stops at value of 1, but let's see what happens if we go to 10. Yeah, so we're still not getting anything. But I was hoping by doing this, it was going to make the visibility of one control turn on and one control turn off. Just for the sake of argument, now that it's set to 1, I shouldn't be able to do IK controls, but it still does IK controls, so never really understood that one. And if we go back to, where am I here? Control content browser, sorry. Control rigs and content browsers. You go to the actual control rig asset, which is going to open eventually. You can see how it's set up here. Same story. Couldn't figure it out, but I did know that there was, inside of here, we got a lot of different settings, which has all these different controllers, which I was happy to see. Now we can access those from the sequencer, but they have current values 1 and 0, which you can change, but oh, look at this, you can actually visualize the difference. This is actually quite interesting. I couldn't visualize it before. So here's our front right leg. Let's go back here again. Oh goodness, which one was it? This one. Current value 1. So we're going from the wiring from the IK to the FK. So this is supposed to switch from IK to FK based on the control functionality. And if you take a look at these guys, this is the whole new rigging system, right? This is it's different than what Maya does. Maya's got it set up so that you've got all your control functionality set up to, basically you wire it all up. It's all baked in there and set. And you're just like, which I guess kind of looks like what we're doing here, but what feels different in this one is that it's kind of like what we do in blueprints, where we have this execute pin that goes through the rig and or goes through any kind of functionality and just triggers off everything as it goes through it. So you have this execution happening every tick. But in Maya, it's not like that. It's just like you have a set system and then you move it, or you can switch it to another set system that's hidden and you move it. But this one, when you switch from one to the next, it's literally disappearing, supposedly, and the other one is being created. But I don't know. And does it? I think it's just an on-off. Oh no, both of them might be on. Yeah, I don't know if there's a trends. It's just on or off. There's no like sliding. Where am I going here? Oh yeah, so what's going on in here? We've got static basic IK, so this is the IK functionality node that you can create. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I know what I'm talking about here, but we did have some experience in previous streams where we're creating basic IK nodes and trying them out and stuff. And why is that connected to something? I didn't mean for it to connect to anything. And then what it's switching between, whether this value is above 0.5 or below 0.5, it's switching a true or false condition. And so the second condition goes all the way over here where we drive the FK system. So this is using the same controls, it's using the FK thing. I don't really understand why I don't see all of these FK controls, unless I just don't understand what I'm supposed to be seeing. Like maybe these are my FK controls, but I shouldn't like be able to see this pole vector and E thing, because that's definitely an IK system. I don't know what's going on there. Then we have left foot FK def drives IK. This might be what drives the IK. All right, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe can I just pick the joint or something? Man, what are they expecting from me right now? Yeah, well anyway, FK is where you just rotate instead of translating. So I was hoping a whole set of controls would show up and the other ones would hide away, kind of like what we did with the tail. And then if it's driving the IK, that's kind of like how HIK system works in Maya and Motion Builder, where you can move the FK and the IK follows along, and then you can move the IK and the FK follows along. But it's a little bit confusing because if you look at your curve graph, you'll be like, what's going on? Why is the character shaking? But meanwhile, there's nothing happening on my graph editor, and you have to realize, oh, it's because I animated that section on my IK. You got to go to your IK curves and realize, oh, there's my bump. You clean that up so that it doesn't. This is why I don't usually encourage anybody to use HIK for hand keyed unless they're pretty comfortable with the whole system, because you can easily get yourself in the situation where you've animated half of it on IK and half of it on FK, and it may have looked okay, but then when you're trying to like polish it and you're fixing some issues, you're realizing that things are not what you expected. And the other big thing is when you're animating HIK in Maya, you have Euler curves. It's like Euler curves is the only way that it really works in Maya. And meanwhile, HIK was originally built with quaternion curves, which is something that Motion Builder works with. So you have this system that doesn't have gimbal lock, and then you work with it in Maya. Now all of a sudden you're dealing with gimbal lock, and HIK was never originally built for this consideration. So you know, what would normally be easy animations in Motion Builder where you wouldn't have problems, all of a sudden you're dealing with like weird crazy flipping happening, and you have to use your Euler filters, and it's just, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's just glaze-eyed as they're listening to me going, what is he talking about? But it's just how it works. There's quite a lot of rigging set up here too, by the way, for this whole character. It's quite impressive, very extensive. You can see here they got the spine and the neck. Like, there's a lot going on. It's pretty complex, so it's pretty neat that it's all running in real time. This whole rig is set up carefully. Snap toe to FK. So curious to know what these things do. I mean, what is all this? We've got all these controls. Nothing's wired up. It's almost like they just kind of gave up on it. They're like, this isn't working. I don't know. So much to learn. So much I don't know about. And like all the stuff I knew about how to rig in Maya is like, this is not anything like that. There's not much I can pull from it. It's a whole nother reinvention of how you do rigging. But it's great. It's great that they shared it for free. It's pretty cool that you can see it and look through it and kind of analyze it, because it's so much more useful than just trying to sit there and reinvent it on your own and really have no idea what the heck it is you're doing. The eye shader works there pretty good. Riz is currently animating 2 characters. Excellent. What kind of characters are they? Alright, what else are we going to talk about here? I think I'm all out of stuff to talk about. I may have to jump over to my cabin file. What time is it? We got 1 hour in? Is there anything else in here that I haven't explored that's worth talking about? Tima, do you usually like learning new things like this? I can't say it's like a fun ride. It's very struggling. Like the fact that I'm trying to do the posing and animation and it's like going terribly. Like that isn't fun to me. but I really do like knowing where this is going, because the struggles of animating in Maya and exporting into the Unreal, I mean, I've been dealing with that for so many years, and I know how frustrating it is to get, you know, weird issues or weird results. Some of the real advantages with this control rig here is that you can add and integrate a lot of dynamic physics-based control systems to it. So this tail could have a whole physics-based system to it that you could layer in and layer out, and it would be relevant to gameplay. It would be relevant to whatever the condition is, rather than just to, like, in this case, you're doing a baked animation in a sequence, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to add all that complexity to your rig. But if your character was a gameplay character and you're running down the aisle and then the character decides to run left and he runs left, that tail can be a dynamic process that an animator can be animating to it and then also seeing what happens with the dynamic process and working with those conditions, rather than just blindly sending off your animation from Maya and hoping that it all works out. You can be very much closer to the proceduralness of what a game engine can do in real time. Riz says there are 2 people that he's animating. Sarah says, I'm about to start posing my kangaroo and cockatoo. Yeah. You have both those characters ready to go. They both have rigs ready to roll. So you just have to, you're actually at the fun stage, really. I mean, you just have to make the animations. I mean, oh, you were going to read to some of the stuff, the rigs for the kangaroo, though, so I don't know. You should just, I would just pose it, just work with it, and really find out how rough it is before you try and redo all this stuff. Riz says, can I show you an animation I made in Lightwave? I'm not sure how you're going to do that, so I don't know. Sounds complicated. All right, so my next goal right now is to get my backdrop working, because I can't think of anything else to talk about with this awesome level without, you know, literally trying to do an animation with this character, which is about as frustrating as trying to do an animation with my fox character. So I'm just going to leave it there, and I'll let myself think about it some more before I decide to progress in there. Meanwhile, I would like to get my new backdrop working, so we may actually try and get that in there today. And that gives me something to do. Unless you guys have questions. Of course, I'm always open to answer questions. Character sets. Sarah says, should I test import it into Unreal before I start animation? Yes is the general answer on that one, because you should always test. It's the amount of time it takes you to do a test compared to the amount of time it takes you to redo a whole animation because the test didn't work properly makes it very easy to decide on what you should do. Always make sure that your this is the wrong scene. Always make sure that your character skeletal mesh is all set up and ready to go, and your export tests are good. And then you can know you can really dive into animation. Fatima, how do you usually approach putting a game together, just like your team? How to divide the work, what to start with, etc. Wow, okay, big question here. How do you make games? Oh, Sarah says, Fatima, you need to learn production management and that for that sort of stuff. Yeah, production management, yeah. There's a lot to talk about, but I'll try to, let me see if I can put it together in just a short form version. Now, if you're making a game, your priority is on gameplay. So that is a key element to worry about. And gameplay and game design is not something that I normally try to get into too deeply because it's not my profession. And honestly, there's a whole nother stream where Troy talks about game design very thoroughly, and he will give you an excellent answer. But that's not the problem right now. All I have to say is focus on making sure your game is fun before you worry about art assets, before you worry about animating. It's really the key mistake that a lot of studios have made, and I know I've definitely been in there in a production environment where that was happening. And that's mostly because you've got your whole art team hired and full-time in your studio, and you're trying to make a new game. So you're just like, I don't know what you guys are going to do. Just start making some stuff, and then we'll see if it works. But it's painful because you make all this stuff. They change the game design. You throw it all out. You make a whole bunch more stuff. They throw it out. You make a whole bunch more stuff. They throw it out. Like, that's just literally how it goes under those circumstances. So, which is fine because you're getting paid. So who cares if it's getting through? It's painful, but at least you're getting paid. It's extremely wasteful. Definitely not very efficient. And when you guys are dealing with making your own project, you can't afford that kind of waste. So, this is why you do this whole white boxing. You do like really basic placeholder stuff. Always thinking placeholder, because you can always upgrade your characters and your meshes, update them, make them look better. You don't have to have your finished assets in order to start your project. So you just work with things that look like the things you want them to be, and leaving yourself in a position where you can always just say, you know what, this isn't working. Let's remove it. Let's do it. Don't feel like you're always attached to things, because then you're stuck. And I invested all this time into this character. I don't want to like throw it away. Well, that's a bad spot to be in, because now you're making critical decisions based on your emotionals instead of whether the game is fun or not. So that's the key takeaway, I think. I would say is just make sure that the game is fun and then you enjoy it. Also, make sure your game is within scope. This is another reason why we do this, so that what you're doing is actually within a size and a scale that you can finish within your team and your budget. So usually vertical slice is the idea. You want just sort of a glimpse of what the game is going to be, because if you want a full-fledged game, it's going to be huge production and take a lot of time. So you just want to prove your concept with a vertical slice. They also have horizontal slices where you just have like the core game layout to see how it goes from start to finish. But what you're really thinking about is, I just want to show a little glimpse of what the game is like. So you're going to have gameplay that feels right, and you're going to have the visuals that feel right. But you just do it in a way that orders it so that gameplay drives your decision making. Wow, hopefully that wasn't too much explaining. I'm kind of go on and on and on. Let's see here. What else? What am I missing here? Riz says you have to first storyboard the game. Nice work, Riz. Can I show you my animation on YouTube? Why am I not surprised that was the second comment you said? Fatima, that's actually good advice. All right, cool. And as artists, we tend to get attached to what we create. It's so true, so true. Especially in the beginning, because you only have so many things you've ever made. You're just like, oh, this is all I've ever done, and I'm gonna throw it away. Like, it's really tough. Fatima, I could listen to that for a while, but I don't mind. I don't mind. Just want to take over the stream. No, I mean, it's relevant to the stream. I don't mind talking about it. These are really important things to know about, and definitely important things to realize when you're first starting out on a project, because man, it's so easy to make that mistake. Feature creep is a huge one. You know, you're just like, I'm gonna make this and this and this and this and this and this, and it takes teams of like over hundreds of people to make a AAA game, like 2 to 5 years. I mean, if you just think about how much workforce that is, that's a huge amount of effort. And that's with them working overtime and like crazy crunch and like working like mad to make these games. Like, it's just everyone always underestimates how much work it is to make a game. So just be really, really realistic, and, you know, start as simple to the core as you can. And naturally it's going to start building out, but you want to kind of keep it down to that size because you're just a small group. All right, so I was thinking a camera shot could be outside over here. This was what I was thinking. And then I could have the fox in there, and we're probably going to do something like that for now as a new shot. That's my idea. Hey, Big Lava Goo is here. Troy's a bunch of streams that talk about game design and different things involved in making and designing a game. Now that is exactly good advice. Exactly. Troy knows this stuff, man. It's literally what he does. So if you want some really good advice, he will give you more than enough information. And I'm sure he'll be happy to answer lots of good questions on his stream. I'm not trying to pass that off to him, but I'm just, we have awesome resources at CG Spectrum that you can tap into, and that one's a really good one. All right. Let's see here. What am I trying to do here? Master backdrop. Shot to. Oh, here we go. I'm going to duplicate this one. You guys can keep asking questions. I'm just going to see if I can. Did I say shot? Nope. How about shot? There we go. Shot 3. We got like a window. Oh yeah, that's the fox one. Look at that, he's done a little animation now. Fatima, it's just a time thing, doesn't always work out for me, but whenever I get the chance to watch a mentor CG, I try. Yeah, for sure. It's tough. I mean, I think we do tons of streams every week, hours and hours of stuff every week, and it's just way too much for anybody to actually keep up on top of it. So oversaturation, I guess, is what we're doing, but I don't know. It kind of works out nice, and it definitely gets sort of the stir going on that is like, oh, there's lots of awesome opportunity here, which is why we're trying to do it. But I understand it. They're all recorded. I think there's like 3 million hours of Troy talking through streams, so you could you could spend your whole lifetime trying to catch up with his millions of hours of dialogue. All right, I don't know if we need the fox in this one. Well, not right now anyways. I'm just gonna hide him. I think I can just, well, maybe I'll just add the visibility track. There it is. Make him hidden. I need a camera angle. Okay. Oh, no, we're not there yet. I didn't, this is the cinematic camera actor. Grab the camera. Oh, I was gonna check out some of those VFX. Oh, so there was a cool option that we found out recently that that you can convert Cascade files to Niagara. And so when I was looking at that Meerkat animation, they had a lot of Niagara VFX stuff. I was actually kind of curious to check that out because I want to make some snow in our scene. I might be able to do that today. I feel like that's pretty ambitious to say that though. Let's just get this camera shot down. I keep saying in all like Q&As, oh, I gotta get this camera shot, my backdrop fixed, something that's more wintry, and I never do. So it's because I keep getting distracted. How am I gonna do this? This is gonna be such a close-up shot. That's kind of nice with that other window in the backdrop there, I guess. Really sure how far I need to go back here. It's gonna be distracting. I was gonna do this before the stream, by the way, but then I found out about the Meerkat thing, and I'm like, I gotta figure this out. So I didn't really have a chance to do it. And if I'm gonna be this close, then why am I even... That backdrop is like the building inside of it. Let's hit G for a second here. I can turn the game off. Game assets off. And I don't know if I'm happy with this angle here. You don't want to look too far into this blizzard background that has like no visuals. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just go with this, I guess. Oh, wait, let's see if I can get some more stuff. Oh, that's 2 lamps in a row. Sorry, I'm getting really picky here. Alright, we'll do that. Camera, got it auto keyed, save that. Should be able to see that, stay that way. There we go. Sarah says, make a waterfall. Oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to do some water effects. My water effects from last week failed miserably, and then Sarah sent me this link that shows me exactly how to do water, and it turns out I forgot to hit a checkbox. I'm like, oh, checkbox. Didn't think of that one. To a frozen waterfall. Sorry, now I'm thinking about this frozen waterfall and whether I can actually do it. Doesn't really make a lot of sense though. Not sure if I'm really into this camera angle here. I was kind of thinking it was going to be a lot cooler, but now I'm done it and I'm like, I don't know. We got shot 1 table. Oh man, I must have destroyed this one. And then, what else are we gonna do? Sarah says, do all animators go on crazy thought tangents? Probably. I'm gonna say yes, even though I have no idea. Mark does, and I do, right? Or Sarah does. Trying to think of any good story I have about people going on thought trends. I know animators are definitely more fun people to deal with. They're like they're introvert extroverts that want to entertain but are too shy to do it. At least that's what I always get the feeling is going on. Mark would be the exception though. He's not too shy to do it. Let's see here. Gotta find my cinematic master scene so I can render this out so I can move on and stop boring everybody. What did I do with these scenes? Oh, master backdrop, that's what it was. Add city park, no. Shot 03. Test it out. Alright, there's our next one. We're gonna do a render pass. Not a custom render pass, just a regular PNG. And then what am I gonna do after this? Oh, we're gonna figure out snow. That's what it is. Resolution. I guess I should figure out snow before I do this, actually. Hold on a sec. Let me back out it for a minute here. Save that. Check it out. Okay, we have a cool snow effect that I'm going to grab from the marketplace that I will start with, and I'll convert it over to Niagara. I know Mark does. I think most creative people have crazy thought tangents. I just need... And Riz says, I need more YouTube subscribers. Riz is desperate. Very desperate for YouTube subscribers. Sorry, Riz. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but you're being very clear about what you want. Let's see here. Marketplace. I gotta remember where the geez, I can't even find it. Where is the marketplace? Here it is. Alright, what was the project someone recommended? I'm gonna write ice, but I can't remember what it was called. Oh look, we have a lot of snow stuff here. Oh, Niagara. This one costs $12. I could have ice and snow from $12. Wow, that looks like much more intense. Cash, you need to get on YouTube and network with other YouTubers. Hey, there you go. You're getting some advice. Comment on their vids. Been there. Been seen there. That's how you get more subs. Thanks, Cash. How do you get out of gimbal lock? Or gamble lock. Unless you're talking about gamble lock. Then stop gambling. Hey, Sarah noticed the gaps here. Gimbal lock is a very complicated answer. There is actually a really nice video on YouTube which talks about how to get out of gimbal lock, and it's mostly just about unwinding your controllers. And if worst case scenario, what you have to do is change your order of calculations for your rotation. So I don't know how carefully I'm going to get into this conversation because it's very convoluted and long, but there is definitely ways to fix gimbal lock. If you ever find that you're stuck into it, there's always a way to fix it. Let me see if I can find a good... Let me do this video. It's useful for everybody. Oh, actually, let me do it from the Slack. I put it in Slack. 3D animation. Pinned. Gimbal lock. There you go. This is the video. Boiler gimbal lock explained. It's awesome. Very good video. It's almost got 1 million views. Talks all about how to do what gimbal lock is, and you know, you do the best you can with trying to sort out. Well, once you understand the concept, that's the key. Then the rest of it gets a lot easier because now you understand why it's happening. Now it's just a matter of how do you avoid it and changing your rotation order and stuff. I don't know if that was a very good answer. I hope that was useful in some ways. Love that ice pack, says Sarah. Opened it up once, checked it out. Many hours to compile textures. Yeah. Plus it has no snow. So this is not what I'm looking for either. But I happen to own it because of it was free one of the months. Let me type snow instead of ice. That'll probably help not pick up the snow one so much. Oh, man. What was it called? It was one of the free assets from Unreal. And had a simple snow, but it had a nice little sparkle to it, which was really helpful because I can use that sparkle and we can convert it to to Niagara. This is not working. Me and my brain. I need Christina. She's the one that told me about it. She was here last week. If you're here, Christina, let me know. Let me see if I can scrounge it up from the previous intakes. Infinity Blade Icelands. I found it. Oh my goodness, how about I spell it right? Infinity Blade Icelands. How about we just do Infinity Blade? How about we spell Infinity Blade correct? There it is, Icelands. So this one's been around for a while, this free asset, but it does have lots of good stuff in it. I like to find free stuff because it allows everybody else to at least use those resources if they ever want to one day. Anyway, we're just gonna add it to our project. What was it called? Backdrops. Oh, no, jeez, I'm having trouble getting anything working here. What's going on here? It's called backdrop. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's in the wrong version. Ah, shoot. Didn't expect that problem. All right, new idea. It's only compatible up to 4.25. Not that it won't work, it's just the one snowflake that doesn't work. So I'm gonna go and create a new game project that is blank. No starter content. In temp. Create it called Icelands. And then I can go back to Marketplace. There it is. Add to project. Icelands. Add to project. Oh, it's pretty big, 1.7 gigabytes. Sarah says, could you use a leaves falling on and swap out the leaves for snowflakes? Well, this snow also has like some foggy, misty, blowy stuff with it, which may or may not be useful for what we need. So that's a good question. I'm not sure whether or not we want see, I think your snowflakes are going to look like they're flipping rapidly, which I think is going to look a little weird. Snowflakes don't really flip, they just kind of fall. Waiting for download of object that I cannot see. Why did it disappear? I don't even know how far it is now. Oh, I guess this is 38%. Alright, that's going to take a while. Let's go back to here and figure out what else we can do here. Really could do with a better camera shot, to be honest. I like the outdoor winter thing, but then it seems a bit strange that I'm outdoor. And then if you look out the windows, you can't see anything but like infinite snow blizzardness, which I guess if you put a lot of snow effects on the other side of the window, it would look interesting. We could like grab this chair. Well, let's do another shot, by the way. Duplicate. This one's called shot of 4. In here, I'm gonna bring this chair in by adding actor, static mesh, armchair. There it is. So that I can move it and then it will go back. What's the deal here? So I'm going to translate, grab those keys, bring the chair over here. I'm not sure this is the smart thing to do, but I thought this chair was pretty appropriate. It looks like something I would be sitting in, so that would be good. I'll move it over here. Maybe raise it up a bit. I don't know whether that works or not. Pull it back a little bit. Now if I use my camera, I'll see what it looks like with the aspect ratio being really tight, which is kind of unfortunately necessary. This is a bit of a different kind of shot. It has to be tight because my camera angle aspect ratio is tight because I've got it zoomed in on my face so I get my green screen in there. So that's unfortunately how it goes. All right, let's do that as a shot. That actually looks a little more interesting than the previous one, and we can still throw the fox in there if we have to. That's good. We'll save that. And we can throw some snow in the background. Hey, we got a plan. I got 25 minutes to do it all in, so I think this is realistic. All right, here's our Infinity Snowlands, Icelands, I mean. We only need the one effect, which is the snow. What are we looking for here? Textures, materials, ambient, masters. Which one is it? What are we looking for here? Environments, ice, fire, snow, plains. All right, here we go. These are particle systems under the ambient. So we got snow, sparkly. Oh, it seems to be, oh no, it's based on where it's landing. Oh, interesting. To like see them hitting the ground. Blowing snow. What? Oh, okay. On a horizontal way. And we have snow and blowing snow together. And can we change the direction of it if we rotate it? Yeah, we can. There we go. It's not too bad. All right, let's talk about how to convert this to Niagara then. So that feature is a plugin. We can go to Edit Plugins, and it's under Niagara. Am I remembering this correct? Cascade. Why is it not showing up? Oh, I'm in 4.25. It's only a feature, I guess, in 4.26. So, just to add to the complications. All right, I'm gonna save this project. It's all right, we can do this. Save all. Save. We're gonna open up the temp. Icelands. Oh, first of all, I'm gonna switch it. It's easy to go from 4.25 to 4.26. It's tough to go from 4.26 to 4.25. So we should be able to do this fine. Unless you have a C++ project. And that's why I always encourage people not to do C++ projects unless you are a C++ coder. Because every time they switch a version, you have to know what it is in your code that needs to be modified when there's like they make changes and legacy stuff. Blueprints always seems to do fine switching from one version to the next, but C++ stuff is always you gotta manually update it. Here it is, blowing snow. Okay, so we're gonna try this plugin again. Plugins, Cascade, there it is, Cascade to Niagara Converter. We're gonna enable it. If I can just click on it. This beta version might be unstable. I always like unstable. No, I don't. I don't know why I said that. Save it over this one, save. Okay. So what you do when you have it changed is you just right click on it and you go convert to Niagara system. And then it will create a Niagara system that you can open up and take a look at and see if it worked. Hey, look at that. It did work. Whoa, that's an awesome particle effect. I didn't expect it to be animated and everything. Whoa. Not that that really looks very good, but wow, it sure is more intense than I expected. Looks like chunks of snow are falling off a roof or something. Anyway, it's a very good way to learn how to use Niagara, I think, personally, because you're going from like a a setup that was made, but then you're switching it over to one of the newer systems, and you can see how it converts certain elements, and also it gives you all kinds of crazy errors, which you get to learn about, which is a great way to learn how to do stuff. Unspecified error, skipping, converting, apply, acknowledge, and clear this issue. Oh, that one's gone now. Still got an error up here. Oh, that was just the warning. This one. Emitter updates on unspecified error. So one is emitting, like this is the smoke one that emits, it looks like it's emitting 10 spawn rate within its lifetime. So it's, you can find out what its life length is. I don't think that's telling me what I want to know. Respond. Huh. Yeah, so obviously I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm looking at this, so a lot of learning going on today and every day. But what I really would like to do is kind of reduce the smoke effect. Let's see what it looks like in the level though. Throw that in there. Oh yeah, it's pretty intense. It's awesome. It's awesomely intense. What else can we do here? Vertical state, your location, add velocity, color. A much better interface in Cascade as well. RGB vectors. Usually the alpha is in here, but I'm not really sure if it is anymore. Scale, sprite size, forces, velocity. Maybe that's why it's not showing up very faint, because we lost the alpha. Right, so I don't know what we're gonna do about that. Well, I could always just use the cascade one, I guess, as a fallback. I don't see anything in there that seems like it's talking about that kind of stuff, so I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking, but here we look at the whole top of everything, which is really handy. Lifetime, maximum, minimum. Oh, there's our lifetime. I'm trying to find that before. But it does a random between 4 and 5 seconds. Position, mass, color. Oh, there's alpha. 0.5. Ugh, we got a different problem. I was a little worried that it was going to be like opacity is coming through a material issue, because that is definitely not affecting anything. Does the color work? No. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. Oh, also, this is an animated particle, so I don't even know if I'm in the right section. Because if you're talking about, like, sub-UV animation, it goes through a whole nother process. Alright, I'm getting boring. Let's start moving on. Just to take a second here to look at the textures for the, what are we looking at here? Is this considered smoke? Maybe it is considered smoke. Might be it. This is the material instance. Oh, they're both material instances. Right, sub UV master. Here's our opacity input. It's coming in through the particle color. It is supposed to be working. The differential, the diff parameter. All right, well, let's try that. We go to our, well, we don't know which smoke it is actually. That smoke needs some Cheech and Chong characters. Yeah, that's definitely the kind of smoke we're talking about here. It's not a, like, a light smoke. It's the texture. That's what it is. It's the texture that goes in. Oh, gosh darn it. Where the fruit did that parent one go? Masters? Oh, here it is. So if this is the inputting of the smoke animated sprite sheet, it's multiplying the alpha out with the alpha of this one to create the opacity. Well, we're obviously getting some alpha because we're able to get the transparency around the shape. So really what I'm trying to do isn't so much making the alpha less or more, although it doesn't seem to make any difference. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to make it like less clear. Oh, let's take a look at the cascade particle for a sec. Maybe we can find out what magic is going on in here. So this is Cascade, the older software that's eventually getting replaced, especially now that they have a converter. Oh, we've got two particle types here. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. This is the one that has the smoke. The other one's the actual, just little snowflakes. Oh man. All right, let's go back to Niagara for a second here. Here I am messing with this one. It's like, that's the snowflake particles. Stop messing with it. All right, let's go to this one. Alpha 0, nothing's gonna happen. Oh wait, it worked. Oh my goodness, I didn't expect that to work. There we go. Look at that. It's working. Wow. I'm actually making progress. Alright, now we got like faint smoke. Alright. Done. Figured something out. Save all. So what we're going to do is migrate just that smoke asset, the Niagara one specifically. And when we use migrate, we're going to be able to grab all the assets with it. So asset actions, migrate. And we're going to put that into, see all the stuff that's connected to it. It's pretty intense, actually. We're going to put that into our backdrops under content. So now we should be able to see it in the backdrops project, which is right over here. Let's see it. So, oh, there it is. All right, let's go take a look at what happens when we drop this in the world. Oh, it's got a little question mark on it. Oh, it's probably because it's not saved. Oh, it's not submitted to Perforce is what it is. All right. There's our crazy, smoky, windy, snowy stuff. We're gonna rotate it downwards. So it feels a little bit more like smoke. Sorry, snow. Hey, there's no snow on this roof. What's up with that? Oh, there's a little bit of snow. I wonder if we could also like slow down the snow, or this blowing snow. Oh yeah, it might snow inside. I hadn't thought of that. This is gonna be a problem. I have to like back it up. I don't know if there's a way that I can like create an occlusion. Yeah, you can kind of see stuff going on out there. The odd particle that comes in here. I wonder if we can like beef up this amount that it spawns here. Oh, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Alright, so we're gonna open up this Niagara, see what we can do here. Oh! It just killed my Unreal by opening up Niagara. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe we have to have that plugin turned on, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's pretty messed up right now. Good to know. Good to know. Definitely another hesitation here. Let's put this plug-in on. See if this is a factor. All right. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, we may have to revert back to simpler system. Hey, that worked. So there you go. You gotta have that plugin installed after you do a conversion. Which is weird. Means it's using something from that plugin still. Not like I have the raw assets in here. So I had this thought that I was gonna crank up the spawn rate of the snow and the smoke. Make it look like it's a little more crazy. I could just like add more particles, emitters, but thought this might be more interesting. But like 100. There we go. Lots of snow now. Let's do even more. Why not? Let's just do more. Everybody likes more. And then we can add some more smoke as well. Spawn rate of 5. It's like, it's pretty ridiculous. All right, awesome. Let's put that in there. Oh, my particle, I never got to save it after I switched it. It's still horizontal. After it crashed, I should say, not switched it. Alright, we're gonna go a little bit off from 90 degrees. Oh, it's pretty crazy. It's definitely trying to hit the house here. It's literally like I'm on a ski hill and this is like the snow machine. Snow machine. Alright, let's see what we got inside our house. Oh yes, I'm definitely getting some snowfall in here. Switch this to world mode and translate it over. Try to get that snow to look like it's coming out of that window there. Alright, there's our snow scene. It's got some... that'll work. Alright, save all before I crash at everything again. I'm not even sure if my snow effects are not getting kicked in here. Mark for add. There we go. There. Now they're all ready to go for the source control. Jump back to our sequencer file here. Oh, we don't have it open yet. Let's get this working. We've got 5 minutes left here. I think I'm going to actually try to do a render. Master backdrop. Oh, I have to switch this out for the other one. Shot 4. Sorry, what? I thought 4 was the fixed one. Does that mean I lost my camera angle? Oh no. What am I looking at right now? This is not accurate. City Park. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Shot 4. No, I lost my camera angle. Shoot. Oh no, it's still there. How come it's still there? Sorry, well, I get confused for a minute here. Oh, there's another key right afterwards. Get rid of these keys. Alright, we're done. Save. Close. Master sequence. Shot 4. Turn it on. There we go. Got ourselves a wintry scene. Let's see how we do this here. No audio. PNG sequence. Full res. Burn in options. No burn on options. Compression 100%. Let's try to figure out where our folder is going to be. Oh, goodness, I forget where I put these stuff. I'm in the content folder. Video captures, here we go. Alright, so they're gonna get rendered in there, I hope. And sorry, I have to select the folder. Sorry for being boring here. 2 minutes. Cinematic mode. Capture movie. Save selection. Okay, it's rendering. Alright, and then we go to, let's see what the, gotta get to that folder. I better get the, resolve opening. We don't have to do all of it. I'll just kind of wrap it up. Is there anything anybody wanted to talk about? Any questions or anything? Within our last 2 minutes or 1 minute that's available here. Next week, I hope to have a new background. No longer will it be autumn after this, based on where I'm currently at here. I should be able to get this wrapped up. We just have to get through a bunch of other tedious things, which I will do on my own time. This is our old backdrop there. Alright, so I'll leave it there, just because I don't want to get, it's going to get kind of dry and boring. I don't want to force you guys to watch me do boring things. And we've already covered it in other streams, so it's kind of the way, that's how it goes. Next week we'll try to figure something else out. We're going to do a Christmas holiday break for our Xmas holiday break, to be politically correct. And that will happen not next week, but the week after, and the week after that. So I'll be back again next week. But then there's gonna be a 2-week break. So 1 more week to go. We'll try to make sure we get this Christmas, did it again, Xmas scene figured out. So we have a nice backdrop, and we'll try to get a fox moving or something. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to check out, or maybe we can try to do some other experimental features that came out in 4.26. I would be kind of interesting to check out, like the water and things still. But today I was so full of other things I wanted to do that I managed to keep myself pretty busy. But anyway, I will leave it there. Thanks again for everybody for tuning in and keeping active with me. And I will see you guys again next week. Take care, everybody.